Check, check, 1, 2, check, 1, 2. What's happening, brother? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
And I can hear and see you. All right. I'm just getting things set up. It's going to take me a couple minutes. So we'll let Ali
Sure.
get in here. And then yeah, we'll get going. I'll drop the link in the chat, get the guys in to watch, and we'll get moving. All right.
Awesome. Too easy. Sounds good.
All right. Cool. Did you send the link to Ali?
Oh, sorry. You wanted me to send it to him, did you?
Yeah, if you
Sorry,
could,
buddy.
if you could, I'm just so busy doing other things over here. If you could
Sure,
send it to
sure,
him,
man.
that'd be
Yep.
great.
Yep. Yeah, too easy.
Let's see. I don't know what's up with my video. It was working 2 seconds ago.
It's always the way.
All right, there I am.
Oh, you there, are you?
Yeah. Just
There
waiting
you are.
for Ali, I guess. I sent
Yep.
I sent the link. I put the link in the TG for the guys. It doesn't look like anybody's joined yet. We'll wait and see. Actually, all right, so maybe there are a couple of guys in here. Anyone who is already in the chat. Now there's a delay. So when I talk to them, it takes like 30 seconds before they hear me.
Yep.
Anybody that's in the chat, if you can hear, if you can see, either say hello or throw a little heart emoji or do something so we know you're there, please. That'd be great. Just want to know that you can hear us and see us all right. Oh, you know what? I just, if you haven't subscribed, so if I don't know if you notice, anyone who's listening in the chat, if you haven't subscribed, you do have to subscribe to the channel in order to chat, which I told everybody earlier, but maybe some people didn't understand it. So if you can go ahead and just subscribe to the channel, and then I think it takes like 5 minutes or whatever after doing that, then you'll be able to actually chat. So I guess we're just going to have to assume. Somebody just sent me a message. Let's see what that was. Yeah, just try it again. It says private video. Okay, period. I thought with the link it would be okay. Let me change that up a bit. Give me a second. All righty. Well, let's see how I do this.
I'm so glad.
Do me a favor and try that link again and see if it works now. Works now. Rob says works now. All right. Rob, do me a favor if you can hear me. Just say hello or something. Oh, you actually, I don't know when you subscribed. If you just subscribed now or if you haven't subscribed yet, you have to subscribe to be able to talk in the chat. But at least let me know in the TG if you can see and hear us. going to take a minute for him to hear that because there's a delay. Where's Ali?
Good question. He's there. I think he's madly sorting some stuff out in the background, just doing what dedicated devs usually do.
Oh, all right. So Rob says working now. He's in the chat and he says working now. Awesome. All right, beautiful. So do me a favor, Rob, whoever else might be in the chat listening, just make sure that in this in the Citadel, not in the main TG, just make sure that anybody who comes in who has problems or whatever, just point them to that link, and they should be able to jump in. They should be able to chat. Basically, I guess we're just waiting for Ali, who said he would be ready in 15, 20 minutes. But I don't know, it is what it is, I guess. We'll give him a few more and see if he joins. If not, then I'll just get. How are you pronouncing that? Is it Ramo?
Yeah, you got it right the first time.
Ramo. All right.
Ramo, yeah. I'll try to speak a little bit slower so you can understand me a bit better. I know I get carried away sometimes with my Australian accent.
Actually, sounds very clear. I don't have any problem with it. You know, since I've been doing YouTube and all these things and involved with crypto, I mean, everybody is everywhere. So my ear has gotten a little better for accents and for being able to kind of try to decipher what everybody's saying. I had a hard time at first, I'll be honest with you. Some people are really deep with their accent. It's tough.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Can hear everything loud and clear. Just subscribe, so should be able to chat as well shortly. Beautiful.
Yep,
all right,
Ali's just sent me a message. He's coming right now.
Okay, I was going to say I'll leave it up to you whether you want to wait for him or if you want to roll. I am going to start. I'm going to start recording. So you might get a little prompt that lets you know that we're recording.
Yep.
Okay. That's just a backup. I mean, YouTube automatically is going to record it anyway, and it'll be there for everybody to watch at their leisure. But I back it up and I do a backup recording on Zoom, so that if anything gets screwed up, I have it on my computer and I can just throw it back up again.
Yep. Can I just mute you for 1 second, Trev?
Yeah. Hey, guys in the chat, Warriors Mind and Rob, I've got a fan on in the background. Now, usually my microphone is pretty good at cutting all that stuff out. Can you let me know if you hear a hum or anything at all coming from my microphone? Because if so, I'll just shut it off. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name that is in the chat because it's like a bunch of weird like characters or whatever. But he says go ahead.
I'll say we've kind of dubbed him Ryuk, I think.
Ryu? Okay. Ryuk. All right, we'll go with that. He says Ramo looks like the guy everybody wants to party with. Absolutely. I was thinking the same thing. Like, this guy can get down. Come join the YouTube, everybody. All right. We're gonna give Ali some shit for making us wait.
Oh yeah. No, he's doing the good work.
Can't hear any background noise at all. Beautiful. Good. Because if I had to shut that fan off, you were gonna have to deal with me sweating on camera for the next like hour. I mean, yeah, the fan.
Am I good on this end? Because I've got a little heater going on underneath the desk here just to keep me warm.
A heater? Why? Is it cold where you are?
For me, it's cold. For really? Normal people, probably not.
All right. So you're in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's always warm in Australia. Do you have seasons like we have here in the States?
We do. Yeah, definitely.
Really?
Yep.
So, all right, you're on the opposite side of the world. So is it like, is right now it's summer, it's really warm. Is this your cold season?
It's just coming into cold season now. So yeah, I'm actually I'm heading over to the States, believe it or not, next week. And so I'm leaving the end of our summer and I'm coming into your summer for a month, which is going to be absolutely awesome.
Oh, that'll be beautiful. See, here in the States, well, on the East Coast anyway, what happens is like when people retire, they want to stay in the good weather. I'm in New England, so I'm up north. And sometimes people will summer here, right? Spring, summer, maybe even fall. But in the winter, then they'll go down south. They'll go to Florida or the Carolinas or whatever. And that way they're kind of doing what you're going to do. They're always staying in that, decent weather. So maybe one day if I don't know if Rick's blows up, maybe I'll buy myself a buy myself a winter place down south. Every project I've been involved with says they're going to be the ones that retire me. Nobody's done it yet.
Well, so it could always be a first time,
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, there's going to be a first time eventually.
mate.
All right, Ali's killing me. Oh my goodness.
Well, he did say he was coming right now, so maybe he's just logging in.
All right, well, when he gets here, we'll do a little introduction with him. But in the meantime,
Cool.
let's kind of get started, right? So,
Yep.
and probably the best place to start is with kind of an introduction. So if you could go ahead and introduce yourself, and everybody sees that you're on the screen that your name is Ramo. But I have known you for a while now as True Blue Aussie Validator. I think
Correct.
we kind of got to know each other through the Terra Classic network and Lunk. But I'll let you go ahead and just kind of introduce yourself, tell everybody who you are, what you do, whatever you want to do.
Well, like most people, I up until recently had a day job. Um, I was operating machinery, well, for about 25 years. Towards the end there, or the last 17 years, I've been playing on the big toys, working in mining. That's a tough life, you're working away from home. It's live away from home stuff. You're away for 7 days at a time and a long way from home. So I'm doing it for 17 years. I kind of had enough of that now and wanted to make a change in my life. And I don't know, I just kind of had a really sparked an interest for crypto. I've sort of been playing around with it just as a hobby, maybe for 10 years now. Just sort of got serious in the last two when I decided I needed to make a change from what I was doing. And so here we are now. And yeah, the change was some investing in, as you know, in Luna Classic. But at the time it was Luna. So I dumped a fair bit of cash into Luna on the way down, thinking it was a really good DCA opportunity. That didn't work out too great. But I stuck in for the long haul. I stuck it out for 2 years. And during that 2 years, I decided to become a validator and start validating the chain because I really wanted to contribute rather than just be sitting on the sidelines. And it was tough, man. I won't lie. There's some awesome people over in that community. I mean, some really, really bright minds. Um, you know, but there's also a lot of toxic stuff going on there. And it was time to move on. So I shut down my validator and started looking for new opportunities. And one of those opportunities that sort of presented itself and came along was Rick's. I found them struggling away on Pump Fund. They were grinding, doing such an awesome job, and the experience I had on Pump Fund previously was pretty horrific. So I just saw these guys really grinding it out, doing good work, and I thought I just can't let these guys, fail like all these other ones were. So I jumped in,
Yeah. All right. I want to at some point I do want to kind of get into the development into what we have right now and kind of more along where it started and where it came from because there have been a lot of questions about that. So it would be great to clear that up today.
sure.
Ali, thank you very much for joining us. You can leave your mic unmuted because
Okay. Okay.
Zoom is pretty good about not kind of picking up background noise and stuff. You took forever to get here. You kept us
I
waiting.
apologize. I do
So
apologize.
we're gonna have to put you in punishment.
I do apologize for being late.
What's going on, brother? Hey, when
I'm
you
here.
had it turned sideways, I got to be honest with you. That kind of looked better than
Yeah,
turning
no. I wasn't sure if it looked a bit weird, so let me just. I know it's a full background, so I thought, you know
No,
what,
no,
one
I love
quick
that. That's so much better, to be honest with you. Yeah. All right. So Ramo just went ahead and did a little introduction, told us who he is. Why don't you go ahead and tell us who you are, what your experience is in
Yeah,
crypto,
definitely,
what brought
definitely.
you to Rick's? I mean, whatever you want to share.
Yeah, for sure. So my name's Ali. Just doxing myself, not a problem. No issue. We've got nothing to hide. So I'm actually very, very new to crypto. I kind of mentioned it to the guys. I'm more so towards. I love the design aspect, and that's where with Rix, I've kind of become the sort of dev. The original dev is Maze. Unfortunately, he has work at the moment, so it's unable to join us. But we met as a group of people, and we initially found each other on a different Pump Fund project. And as many people are aware with Pump Fund projects, you find so many, and unfortunately, 99% of them are certain rug pulls. And unfortunately, with one of them that we're involved in, not so in development, but just be invested in, we thought it was a really, really cool project. Unfortunately, it turned out also to be a rug pull. But we kind of got together as a group and said, you know what, let's try and find the right projects, the right people, right like-minded people, and you know what? Let's actually make some. Of course, it's about money. Of course, at the end of the day, we want to make friends, community, and actually, this is what the crypto community is actually about. And it should be. It should have been about. It's not about the people that are just there for the quick buck, or therefore just you know what? Let me just make money from these people. And unfortunately, you know what? During these times, people are kind of taken because of the fact that they want to try and make money quick, they unfortunately fall into these rug pulls, and I have too, alongside many other people I'm sure have. But you know what? That's where Rick started. So one of May's actually had an idea for Rick's, but never knew, it never had a team in place in order to kind of start this project. And that's where, as a team, you know what he said, you guys are the right people. Let's do this. If we're going to do it, let's do it properly. So we started from Pump Fun. We started early days. It was, you know, it was a slow starter as well. And I'm not sure if Ramo actually mentioned it, but we were on Pump Fun for a couple of days. And you know what? That's where people started to notice I'm actually sleeping on these bags. It's not a rug pull, you know. And the community started to grow in the Telegram. People actually started to understand that these guys are actually, you know, genuine people, and we are. And like I said, we're doxing ourselves here. We don't have a problem. There's nothing shady going on behind the scenes. And we really want to grow this project, and the community has definitely grown over the days. So we were Pump Fun for a couple of days, and we were just grinding it out, trying to get out of Pump Fun, of course. And finally, with the help of Ramo, actually one night I actually went to sleep, and the next day the guys were trying to call me saying, you know what, we're on Radium, but I was fast asleep because just awake for so many hours. But yeah, we hit Radium, and I was just honestly taken aback. I mean, I got on into the metaverse too and saw so many people. I was like, wow, this is actually what we wanted, and I'm actually glad to kind of actually design something and people actually enjoying it. I've got so many kind of like well done's from it, and I was actually taken aback. And it's more so the fact of rewarding that I'm actually really my reward is seeing people enjoy the thing that I've actually designed, and that's actually more rewarding than any money at all. And like there's so much in the works that Ramo and other devs have actually kind of come up with. We don't want to mention anything at all. We're going to just have it set in stone, make sure the product speaks for itself, and that's going to become later down the line. But myself, so yeah, I'm actually very, very new to crypto. In terms of my experience, I'm actually a medical student, so I'm in my final year of med school, and I had a bit of time now, and I think it was the right time. You know, I, of course, want to make some money too, but I think it's more than money now. This is actually a community we're growing, and I think hopefully one day lifelong friends. I mean, Ramo is going to be going to, to meet Rhino soon. I heard of the VC. Hope one day that this community is so close knit that one day we have these meets in the future, 10 years down the line, we're like, you know what? I remember starting Ricks with you guys, and it's like a community that we've grown. And that's why, I mean, we could touch on it in questions later, but we've come up with some sort of kind of brand that we have behind this. And we hope that this group stays together as close knit as it is, and that we can definitely succeed together. It's not one person succeeding over the other.
All right, beautiful. I mean, Uh, I kind of get what you're saying when you talk about where you kind of get your joy from, creating something and then kind of, creating something that's going to benefit other people and that they appreciate or whatever. Me and Ramo, we dig holes for a living, I dig little holes, he digs big holes. We don't always get that satisfaction. But I absolutely understand what you're saying, so I appreciate that. You're a medical student. When you're talking about you design, what I want, actually, let me ask you this. How many people are actually on the team, like core members of the team, other
Yeah,
than
of
you
course, of
two?
course. So when we take, so if you're talking about the core team, it's
Yeah.
myself. We have Ramo. He's the heart. Honestly, I've told him many times he's the heart of this project. Without him, this project wouldn't be where it is. So we have Ramo. We have Rhino. Rhino's from California. Unfortunately, he's with family today, so he might join us later on in terms on YouTube. But at the moment, I don't think he'll join the call, unfortunately. And we have Maze, who's the original dev of the project. And so that's the core team. Of course, we have those not kind of they were I guess part of the project. They're still holders in the project, but they are kind of just there to support the project and just to kind of see it through. But in terms of kind of the main kind of core team, it's myself, Ramo, and Rhino, and Mason.
Okay, so pretty much everybody I've already kind of met in the TG.
Yeah.
And what are everyone's responsibilities? Like, what aspect of the project are you kind of in charge with? Either one of you can answer.
Yeah. Okay. No worries. So I'm more than happy to, and then if I miss anything, then Rama can definitely add. So,
and Ali, I'm sorry, let me stop you before you even start. I don't know if anybody else is having a problem. I'm having a little bit of a problem hearing you. I don't know if you can maybe move closer to your mic or maybe
yeah, of
just
course I can. Yeah,
talk up
sorry,
a little
sorry.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I do talk fast and sometimes mumble a bit. I do apologize.
I do too.
Yes.
I get it.
So, like I said, well, myself, I'm very new to this, the crypto kind of the world. So when we kind of took this project on, the roles weren't set in stone. Everyone kind of overlapped in terms of responsibilities, and I feel like it's still at this stage. However, that's one thing we definitely need to improve on, and understanding everyone's strengths and weaknesses, and kind of ensuring that every part of the works is actually kind of taken by whoever is strongest in that work and is strongest in doing that. So myself, I've kind of been running the Telegram alongside Rama and Ryan, so everything's kind of combined. But if we're going to talk about responsibilities, I would say I'm also kind of the to do with the designs, essentially running raids and kind of getting the word out on Telegram, being in the voice chat, answering any. Feel free. I've always said the VC is open all like 24/7 most of the time. Anyone has any questions, we're here. We're happy to answer any question. Rhino, of course, doing the same thing. He's also really. He was actually the fundamental part of actually this metaverse that we've actually created. Without him, we wouldn't have known about this. And Ramo's just been that core team, core support too, and of course the financial support in getting this project where it is because of the belief that he has. But again, I think I'm speaking to him. It's more than money for him. It's actually just a kind of community that we've grown.
Right. Yeah, Ramo, what are your responsibilities? What are we getting from you in this team?
You know what? Like, I kind of just feel like a bit of a roustabout. Like I just feel like I'm just sort of filling in gaps where there's gaps where I can. And obviously, like Ali said, like I'm heavily invested in this project because I believe in it. So I'm doing what I can financially to support, and I'm obviously trying to just handle a bit of the logistics of organizing stuff, getting things done, making sure that everybody's sort of on the same page, I guess. But look, we're all sort of just pitching in and doing what we can. If somebody can't do something, then somebody else can, and that's sort of how it's been running at the moment. It's like Ali said, it's up till now, it's been working pretty well, but now that we're getting a little bit more serious, things are ramping up a little bit. We need to sort of start looking at, like you said, finding whose strengths are what, and sort of playing to those strengths.
All right. And we'll get into it in a little while as far as the metaverse and the portal and all those things. Is there a developer, a coder, someone who writes code on the team?
So right now, most of the metaverse per se that we've actually implemented is really just to show, just putting our foot in the door. This is early works. You definitely want to improve on the aspect, but there's no coder to code at this stage. But it's something that we can, of course, implement later down the line. And because at the root of it, of course, we understand that this is a meme coin. Everyone knows that. So the utility aspect, we want to kind of branch into it. We kind of branch into it very, very slowly in order to ensure that people understand that we're not kind of giving everything to them at one stage, and that the root that this is a meme coin. It's not like a blockchain like Bitcoin, like Doge, something like that. It is a meme coin. But at the moment, there is no coder. We're using a certain software that has certain capabilities to add 3D rendering. But however, we are finding some issues in terms of mobile users on this. So we are taking that into account and trying to see softwares that we can implement that are kind of better for mobile use, because we know everyone's not going to be at a computer 24/7 that uses this. So we're looking into that later down the line. But yeah, so there's no coding per se at this stage, but for more serious kind of implementation later down the line, we definitely have to use code.
Yeah, well, I mean, because when you say metaverse, I mean, there's a lot that's involved there in creating an actual metaverse, and so that's why I was kind of curious. So what you're saying is that there's an actual software that you guys use that allow you, and you've figured it out, and how to use this software to create what you have right now on the website, and that people can use. That wasn't necessarily created for you by a dev, by a coder, or anything like that.
That's correct. Yes. So it's a software, and within the software has it's like a blank map. So say it's similar as a website where you start with a plain page, and it gives you the capabilities in order to kind of express your design element and create something and painting a picture. So we did that, but we did it more so focusing on the character Rick, and we started, let's do Rick's garage. We haven't seen it before. Something new that we really haven't seen within kind of the meme world aspect. Something different that users haven't actually kind of, maybe they have touched the metaverse, but not so much in the meme world. We're thinking, let's see if we can kind of merge the two together and see if it gels.
Okay. I'm going to give you both an opportunity, either one of you both an opportunity a little later on to actually kind of demonstrate how it works. You can, the screen is shared, and you can just kind of do it on your screen so everybody can see it. I would imagine the software is only going to take you so far, kind of like what you said, right? So, and devs aren't cheap, right? I mean, have you talked about it? Have you talked about the plans of, how much more you want to do in terms of development, and how you might need an actual developer, and how you might kind of get that, like financially or whatever? Is that something that's on your radar?
Definitely. So one thing I want to mention, this software is, for what we're using it at the moment and what we have planned already, this is more than suitable for our needs at the moment. And we just haven't actually kind of fulfilled the full capabilities of this site. So something like what we mentioned is the 3D rendering. So the files that we're using, some of them, when you kind of, depending upon how textured they are, they use a lot more memory. So one thing that we can implement is getting a designer not to kind of code whole things, but to produce 3D rendered images at low textures. That's a lot cheaper than actually getting a coder to kind of create us a new metaverse. So doing that, we can actually stay on this site for far longer, where we can reach hopefully kind of higher highs, and then have these kind of investors invest more. Of course, take profits along the way, but the root team would always be present, and in doing so, we can then kind of advance our kind of capabilities. There's other sites I can kind of name drop. For example, Unity is another kind of site that you can do kind of this implementation of metaverse. We can definitely look into that later down the line. But as of yet, we've found that this site is definitely more than capable. We just haven't actually fulfilled the capabilities of the site yet.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you know, down the road there are actually companies that you kind of rent CPU space or whatever, but I mean they'll do the rendering for you a lot faster if it comes to that. I mean, there's actually even a cryptocurrency render, RNDR, that basically puts you with all kinds of other computers all over the world. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but I know that that rendering power is really, really expensive. But there are ways to get around it. So yeah, I look forward to whatever's being developed in the future. All right, moving off of that for a little bit. Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
So I got to be honest with you. I had heard of
Who
it.
doesn't love Rick and Morty, mate? I mean, come on.
I didn't know Rick and Morty. I didn't even know it. I know about Adult Swim, you know, and I've seen little bits and pieces of different cartoons that are on there, and you know, they're humorous to me. But it's just not anything that was really on my radar. So once I actually talked to Ramo, and you know, he told me about the project and everything, I said, all right, I've heard about Rick and Morty. Let me go see what the hell Rick and Morty is. I watched the first episode by myself, and if anybody was watching me, they would have thought I was a freaking idiot. I was laughing my ass off. It was so funny. I couldn't get over it, and I couldn't believe that I hadn't seen it. So I was in about the third episode now. Right now, I'm like binge watching it. And my son comes in, he peeks his head around the corner and says, "Are you watching Rick and Morty?" Right? And I told him, yeah. So he told me a little story about it. And I don't know if you guys are aware of this. If you're big Rick and Morty fans, you probably are, right? How many seasons are there so far?
That's a good question. I've watched them all, but
there's a few.
A lot, right? So he
Yeah.
told me that the first 3 seasons were, I don't know the guy's name, but whoever it was that was doing the voice, did Rick's voice, did Morty's voice, did maybe a couple other voices, and he did that for 3 seasons. Then I think there was some sort of scandal or something that happened. I don't know if you're aware of it or not. And that guy was gone, and they brought somebody else in, and I guess this new guy is the one who does the voice now. But I haven't gotten to that point, right? Are you guys aware of all this with this cartoon or no?
I'll be honest with you, no, I didn't know that.
Ali, did you know about that?
Sorry, Trev, you cut off on my end.
Oh, I'm sorry. What part didn't you get?
You were talking about the first 3 seasons.
Right. No, I said the first 3 seasons, there was a particular guy, I don't know his name, who was doing the voice of Rick and Morty and a few of the others. Then there was some sort of scandal. My son tells me some sort of, I don't even want to get into it, but they got rid of that guy and they got a new guy. And so from season 4 on, it's a different voice than the first 3 seasons. And that means absolutely nothing to your project. I just a little bit of
a little trivia. No, I didn't know that.
A little bit of trivia. I was just wondering if you guys knew about it.
We can definitely use that for our next trivia night, Ramo.
Well, I mean, do some research on it. This is what my son told me, and he's who I go to for all of my pop culture stuff, you know? Because I'm old.
I don't want to make myself sound foolish or anything, but in saying in what you just said, then I'm pretty sure, like I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that at some stage throughout the seasons, something changed about the appearance of Rick too. So it could have had something to do with that. Maybe someone can tell me if I'm right or wrong, but his appearance.
Ramo, do you remember Bewitched?
Yes, I do.
Remember when they switched Darrens?
Yes.
I don't think it's the same thing though. This is a cartoon.
I'm not sure if I wanted to admit to that though, actually.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the little bit of gray. I'm thinking maybe you might remember Bewitched. Ali has no idea what we're talking about.
I have absolutely no idea.
So what brought you guys specifically to Rick and, I mean, there's a million things you could have made a meme about. This one is very popular. What brought you to it? What made you decide that this is something you wanted to be involved with?
So, as I mentioned, this was actually Maze's idea. So Maze was the main dev, and he came to us. He's like, you know what? Who doesn't like Rick and Morty? And you've seen many meme coins before. Everyone says it. It's like a cult-like following. once you start, like you mentioned, Trev, once you started watching it, you do nothing about it for the first episode. You just were like laughing in tears, So
Yeah.
it's something funny, hilarious, a funny kind of comedy, and anyone that sees it is like, you know what? I love Rick and Morty, and they just remember it. They remember even if it's like tiny things, but they remember certain things that kind of are humorous to them, and it's memorable, especially Rick's character. So we thought, you know what? Everyone's gonna love it, so let's do it. If we do it, let's do it properly, and we did it. And so far, everyone's loving it.
What kind of struck me about the TG, right, and the fact that you guys are doing Rick and Morty, what kind of struck me was, so I mean, sorry, there's there are a lot of really memeable characters out there, and there are a lot of characters that were already memes, and then people made a cryptocurrency out of it. And it's pretty easy if you're going to make a meme coin to just find something that's popular, make a meme coin. A lot of times people do that. It's a straight up pump and dump or whatever. But what I noticed about you guys is that you guys are actually really into Rick and Morty. You do a trivia night about Rick and Morty. I mean, you guys know like all the details about it. Like, I'm a Star Trek guy, right? You ask me anything, I'm going to answer you. You guys know
we'll
Rick and Morty like
later, Trev.
I'm sorry, say it again.
I said we'll have to talk about that later because I'm a Star Trek
There we
fan.
go. All right, we're cool. You and me got a lot in common anyway, we found out. But anyway, yeah, I mean, you guys are into it like that. So it wasn't just, hey, let's and this is, I think is important to people to know. It wasn't just, hey, this is something that's really popular, so we're gonna make a meme out of it and we're gonna blow it up because we know everybody loves it, and then we'll see you later. This is actually something that's kind of close to you guys that you really, really enjoy. So I appreciate that about it. Ramo, all right. Now you guys mentioned something that I'll be honest with you, and I'm almost ashamed to admit it. I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. Pump fun or whatever. I don't even know what that is.
If I'm being honest with you too, you know what? Like, until a couple weeks back, I knew nothing about it too.
Okay, good. I don't feel so bad.
No. So, I don't know if Ramo wants to touch on this.
I can if you like. How honest can I be?
Be honest. Well, listen, be honest. That's what we're here for.
Okay, I like to be honest because that's just how I roll. That's me. Pump Fun, in my opinion, is a playground for scams. It's a place where you can go to launch coins for next to nothing. It costs like next to nothing. So like a 16-year-old boy could, with a computer and a little bit of smarts, could launch a coin on his own. So there's very little security control in that environment. So like basically, as I said, it becomes a playground for scammers launching coins. So it's like unless you're really, really switched on, I mean, you're gonna have a really low success rate in investing coins on there.
So does it have anything to do with Solana? Is this a standalone kind of thing?
Look, I think it's partly because the fees are so low on Solana and it's a fast chain, like everything moves really quickly on that. It's a fast network and cheap fees that it's really, really user friendly for people to do stuff like that.
But I mean, but what I'm saying to you is that this isn't like something that's on Solana, like a tool of Solana. This is something totally different. And then you guys decided to move it off of that onto Solana. Do I have it right?
No. Basically, no. Well, yeah, it starts on Pump Fun. It's like an application, like it's a website that you go to where they basically allow you the tools, like a launch pad, to create your own coin. Okay. And people invest, and you actually, when you buy from Pump Fun, the money goes into their application or their protocol until you reach a certain threshold. And when it reaches a certain threshold, it gets released onto Radium with a locked liquidity pool. So so there's lots of different ways that people scam on that. And one way is that they get in really early and they'll wait for 10, 15, 20,000 worth of liquidity in there, and then the devil will just empty his wallet and disappear and then go on crash. Yeah. Or they'll wait until it gets just about to the end of the bonding curve where it's just about to launch to Radium. Like it'll be up around $59,000, $60,000 worth of liquidity or market cap. And they'll do the same thing. The devil will just pull everything out and disappear. and then there's the next level, which is where they actually take the time to push it to Radium, and then it opens it up to a whole slather of new people, obviously. And so you can get pumps like we had a pump when we went to Radium. We pumped up to 170K market cap. And there's devs that or there's nefarious people out there that let it get that far in the hope that it will do a big pump, and then they rug it then. So it's yeah, it's a scary place for people that really don't know what they're looking at.
So does this thing actually like create the smart contract for you, and is that pretty much how it works?
As far as the technical side of things, I'm not sure exactly how the mechanics work. Maybe Ali knows a little bit more about the mechanics of it, but yeah, it basically stays in their protocol or their application or however it is until you reach a certain threshold, and then it comes off and goes on to Radium Spot.
So here's the angle I'm coming at. Here's what I'm actually wondering. You got a cryptocurrency. There's a smart contract, that is usually, has to be made, coded, whatever you want to call it. I'm not a technical guy, so I use whatever, but it has to be coded, it has to be made. And then if you're gonna go to another kind of exchange, I don't know that you can take that smart contract with you if you have to write a new smart contract. I'm just trying to figure out what the contract is, how it got to Solana, and do you guys have control over it?
Maybe Ali, do you have a better idea on that? Like, it's probably not my field.
I can maybe potentially answer a few things without kind of like twisting my words. I don't want to say anything wrong because I'd rather kind of be truthful. So I don't know too much, but I know once you set it up, you kind of set up how many tokens you want in the pool, and then set up a dev wallet too. And I know understanding the idea of the kind of the bonding curve and the lock liquidity within that pool too. But apart from that, I don't know too much else. But I believe it potentially could be the same smart contract, right?
Okay. And who would actually have those answers? Would that be Maze?
That's correct. Yeah, Maze. I think it would be similar to any other kind of pump fund project in general. But yeah, I don't think it's any different to any other.
Something that people look for very often, particularly in a meme coin, is a renounced contract, a contract that doesn't have the ability to kind of whitelist and blacklist stuff or kind of change things randomly.
Exactly.
These are some of the things that really people are going to want to know. When we tell them to do their due diligence, these are the questions that should be asked.
Yeah.
So these are questions that people are going to want to know. And so that's why I'm kind of asking you.
Of course.
And so if we don't have the answers today, I'm pretty sure we can get the answers and kind of, get them out there. But yeah, that's going to be something that's important. It's important to me for sure.
So
what is that contract? What is the security of that contract? Who has control of that contract? Is it renounced? Is it, you know what I mean? That's kind of the meat and potatoes kind of stuff, but I mean, we need to know it.
So there is a site that anyone can use. It's called rugpool.xyz. So it's a website where you can kind of submit the contract address of any kind of coin, and you can understand the level of liquidity within the coin. You can understand if it has mutable metadata. So it gives you certain warnings. So you can anyone is more than able to take our contract address from Dex Screener, post it in there, and they will see that there is no mutable metadata. So with certain rug pools, of course, where you have the idea of you're able to buy in, but then they freeze your address, so you're unable to withdraw anything. So there's no red warnings on that for us, which we're kind of more than happy. It's public knowledge as well. So
there are a couple of sites you can do that with, but yeah, that's a good one. Hey, just a reminder to everyone who is in the chat, and I know there's not a lot of you in the chat. We kind of did this at a time. Unfortunately, that was convenient for me, but not necessarily convenient for a lot of people in Europe and different parts of the world. Some people went to sleep. But feel free to go ahead and just ask questions or whatever. If you have any questions or comments in the chat, I can see it, so I can read it and I can get to the guys. You guys that are in the chat have probably been in this a lot longer than I have. Maybe you have all your questions answered already. I don't know. All right, go ahead. For the people who are going to be watching this later, go ahead and tell me about the project. Tell me about RCKS,
Yeah.
how it works,
Of course.
everything about it.
So I think the where we can start is with the tokenomics, and Ramo is kind of more knowledgeable with the tokenomics of the project than I am. So I'm going to give him the floor, and then we can kind of proceed from there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess we've pretty much covered most of the, the pump fund stuff. I mean, there's a billion supply, which is a pretty standard thing for coming off pump fund. And there is that 36K of locked liquidity that came from that. So, and yeah, it's just pretty much standard tokenomics. We've got a good loyal sort of base of holders that come with us. And, once we sort of pushed it to Radium after that fourth day, it was basically, yeah, sorry, I've just lost myself there. Yeah, sorry, I've got a bit of a list. Hello, something's happened to my screen.
Yeah, I just put the chart up. Can you see it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to throw you off.
No, you're right. Yeah, no, yeah, so I mean, there's nothing really special about the tokenomics other than the billion supply. We've got, we had some really good investors come in early, and they're believing in the project. So we've got a lot of big holders, but there's no need to be scared about that because they also believe in the project and they're in it for the long term. And our market cap's been holding really good floors as we've moved along. We started off, as I said, we came out the gate pretty strong and it hit 170K market cap, and then it sort of leveled back down to, sort of a 20K floor. We got to the 20K floor, and every 24 hours we made really sort of like almost a 100% increase for the first few days. We went from a 20K market cap to 45K market cap, then we went to an 80K market cap, and then 100, and then we sort of leveled off at about 130. So there's been really, really solid growth, and we've been getting really good figures on our 24-hour volume too. For the size of the market cap we're sort of getting some really good numbers. There's sitting at about 36,000 24-hour volume at the moment, which is like amazing for such a small market cap. I mean, you look at a couple of the $2 and $3 million market cap coins out there, and we're sort of doing as much volume as them. And that's just insane.
Yeah, it is crazy. Yeah. Yeah, and it looks really good. I mean, the chart, honestly, nice steady growth. You see an absolute incline from where we started to where we are. We had some lows that were really good. And then some pretty good highs, and yeah, it's kind of leveling off at this point. It's been around this 3 zeros 12 area for a little while, but yes, if you look at, and a lot of people really like to look at the wallets and stuff and are really good at tracking that stuff, and feel free to go ahead and do that. It's all part of doing your DD.
We're completely transparent, Trev. Like everybody's happy to know, for everybody to know what's going on. We've got nothing to hide. So, there are, like you say, there are some big holders, but they're, as the project grows and the market cap grows, a lot of those big holders at the moment, they're going to be taking some responsible profits as the price goes up. And they're going to be putting those tokens back into circulation for more people to buy and as they come into it. So, and it's just going to be an organic process. We're not trying to get to 10 million market cap tomorrow. In fact, we really don't want to do that. We want to take it nice and slow and have those corrections when we need to have those corrections.
Yeah, well, that's the sign of not a pump and dump, right? I mean, you run it up really, really fast, and there are different ways it can be manipulated. You can do that with any token. You run it up really, really fast, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Is that everybody's going to take because they know it's going to come back down. So let me take my profits before it does, and then you get the pump, you get the dump. But it's what I'm seeing here is much more favorable. Nice, steady growth. You're seeing people that are buying it and holding. And if you look at those wallets, even the ones that have, maybe 2 and 3% of the supply, they're holding on pretty tightly. Now, one of the questions that I asked recently was, do you guys know these big holders? Do you know who they are? And I don't know that you know every single person that's holding, but a lot of the big holders, you guys know who they are. They're people that are going to be responsible holders.
That's
and
correct.
So that's actually a really, really good thing. That's really bullish.
Trev, all of those big holders, they come into our TG every day, spend hours in there in our VC talking to us every day. You know, they're part of the family. You know, they offer up really good suggestions and ideas for us, and we're more than happy to listen to those ideas. They contribute with artwork, with memes, gifts. You know, like everybody is just putting in 110%.
Honestly, yeah.
Really good. Buy tax, a buy tax, a sell tax. Nothing.
None.
Zero, right? So you can buy it, you can sell it. Doesn't cost you anything in a tax. Deflationary. I thought I saw something about something being burned, because when you look at the supply, it's a little less at this point than 1 billion. So how does that work?
Yeah, Trev, what happened was when we were on Pump Fund, and it was on that fourth day, and we were making that final push to get off onto Radium, we made a commitment that we would burn some coins or some tokens after we hit Radium.
Yep.
And yeah, that basically a couple of hours, or you know, it was maybe 3 or 4 hours later, we hit Radium and we burned some coins. Okay. I think it was, let me just have a look at my notes here. I had it written down somewhere. I think it was somewhere in the order of about 3 million tokens.
Mm-hmm. And what are the plans on burning going forward?
We haven't got anything set in stone, but we're certainly going to work something in. We've got there's a lot of stuff that we've got in the works and plans that we, you know, like we'd love to tell you now to explain what was going to happen, but we sort of can't. and a little bit of burning is going to be in there somewhere.
Okay, all right. So at some point we are looking at a deflationary token. Which is, you know, I mean, never hurts for sure. No. You know, scarcity is a good thing. Mr. Content says, no question. Just want to say, Remo's mustache is awesome. I was thinking. I appreciate
it.
Remo,
how long have you into it?
How long have you been in Australia?
Well, look, I'll be honest with you. I'm 49 now, and I came to Australia when I was 6 years old, so 43 years in Australia, and I was in New Zealand before that. I was born in New Zealand, actually.
Born in New Zealand, then went to Australia. Yep. But do I remember correctly, didn't we have a conversation one time where you told me you're Portuguese?
Yeah, my blood's Portuguese, my friend. Hang on a second, I'll show you something.
Uh-oh. Ah, there it is. There's a Portuguese flag. I'm in an area of Massachusetts in the United States that is predominantly Portuguese. So when you talk about Ramo's mustache, all of Ramo is familiar to me. I mean, he just looks like everybody I work with and everybody in my neighborhood. It's really weird if you didn't talk, I would be looking at just a Portuguese guy that, you know, like I see on a daily basis. And then I hear this Australian voice come out of you, and it's like, well, it's a little off-putting to me. It's a little weird, but yeah. So you're an international guy. You've been you got all kind of things going on. Do you talk Portuguese at all? Does your family, your parents?
Look, you know what? It was sad. What happened was, like, it's a pretty long story, but briefly, my mother and father left Portugal when they were really young, and they went to England first. And I had an older sister that was born in England, and then they moved from England to New Zealand, and that's where I was born. And then we moved from New Zealand to Australia. So we've kind of been around all over the place. And sorry, what was the question again?
Well, the question was whether you or your family speak any Portuguese.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, sorry. What happened? It was really sad when they moved to England. They saw how the kids that were treated by foreign parents, you know, from European parents, they saw that the teasing, bullying, all that sort of stuff. So they decided from that point they were just going to speak English in the household, and we were just going to speak English in the household. Which I could understand why they decided to do that, but I'm sort of a bit gutted because I would have liked to be fluent in Portuguese. But that's how it was. We grew up not speaking Portuguese in the house. But I mean, there's certain words that I do know, like food, swear words.
Yeah, but I'm out of the. I don't know if you know that one.
Which one?
Anyway, I said, but I'm out of the. So
yes, Yeah.
Do you know that one? I find
I think
that
I do, yeah.
interesting, and okay. We might be veering off topic a little bit. It really has nothing to do with Rick's, but kind of a life thing. It's really, first off, I want to say it's really good that you guys will come on here and not only talk to us, but show your faces, give a little information about who you are and where you come from. I think anyone looking at this who says, well, how do we know this isn't a rug pull or whatever? Listen, you don't. You never know that with anything, right? But how many rug pulls have you seen where you knew who the people were, you knew their names, they showed their faces, usually you get into those projects, you have no idea who created it. No idea at all.
Right.
And so when they disappear, you don't know where to find them. But these guys are, Ali, I don't know what just happened, but it looks like all of a sudden I've got two of you on my screen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I see that too.
I don't know. Yeah, it's like we got a whole nother square of you.
Oh,
Anyway, I don't know. Whatever. Shit is haunted. But anyway, so I just want to say that I really appreciate that. And I think that anybody watching this is really going to appreciate that. And then I just want to comment on what you just said real quick. And I'm sorry if this bores everybody, but it was just interesting to me. I'm Cape Verdean, which basically is Portuguese and somewhat African, right? The Cape Verde Islands are just off the southern tip of Africa. They're kind of between Portugal and Africa. The story of how Cape Verdeans came to be isn't a pleasant one. However, that's what I am. So I have people in my family who are very Portuguese looking. In other words, they are your skin tone, maybe even lighter with light hair and light eyes or whatever. Then I have people in my family that are my complexion, maybe even a little darker. We're all over the place because we're such a mix of people. So when my family came from Cape Verdean to America, to Massachusetts particularly, it was at a time where there was a lot of segregation. There was a lot, right? So the lighter skinned Cape Verdeans didn't want anyone to know they were Cape Verdean. They tried to pass as Portuguese. And so they would not speak, as we call it, Creole, right? They would speak, they would learn the dialect. Either they would speak English, or if they were decent at speaking Portuguese, they could do that to assimilate. So it's just interesting to me to hear that kind of thing actually goes on all over the world, and not just here, because it's something I kind of grew up with, and we kind of get a little upset about that situation in the United States. But it's interesting to me that you actually experienced that, even going to New Zealand and England and wherever else you were. So anyway, yeah, we got a lot in common, my friend.
Yeah, tell me about it.
All right, so where were we? Back to Rick's. Deflationary can be, depends on what happens. Where is it just like a burn wallet that it went to, the stuff that was burned?
I believe we used Sol Incinerator.
Okay, so is that like a null address kind of thing, like where it's absolutely gone, or is it in a burn wallet?
It's gone. It basically
Gone.
takes it from your wallet and destroys it.
Okay. Some people don't know the difference. When people say that they're burning and there's a burn wallet address, it's still in a wallet. It's still in a wallet address. I think that if somebody has the keys to that wallet, those coins could be reintroduced, right? But when you send it to a null address, the way that Ramo's talking about, they're gone. They're not anywhere in existence anymore. They're off of the blockchain. They just don't exist, so they can never come back. There is a difference that a lot of people aren't really familiar with. So little education from these guys is really cool. All right. Moving forward, what are the plans? What is the plan for longevity? Because we know that meme coins come and go.
Yeah.
We know that 9 out of 10 projects that are launched fail. And just aren't around, right? You'll see a really hype project and talk to me about it 6 months later, right? They're nowhere to be found. So what is the plan for longevity in this space so that your holders know that you've got a solid plan for actually being around? How do you do it?
Yeah, I'm not sure if Rama wants to touch on anything first, and then I'll continue.
You go.
Okay.
I've got a couple of things, but you go first.
So
nobody wants to handle this one, huh?
No. Just want to mix up points. So, Trev, like you said, like I mentioned earlier, we understand that this is a meme coin. So people understand it's not your Bitcoin or anything like that. So we need to kind of stick with the roots of the project and understand that we need to kind of expand the meme. And like I said, so Rick being the character he is, everyone knows him and everyone likes him. So what we've actually created with this project, like you mentioned, you've touched on it, is 1% holders. And we've called this group the Citadels, the Citadel of Ricks. So we have this group of Citadel of Ricks, and they are the strong community of 1% holders. So we plan on borrowing the success on Ricks to kind of create with the team of devs that we have a certain company or certain kind of entity, which is umbrella company, called the interdimensional investing. And we want, as we kind of touched on this metaverse ecosystem, because we do like this metaverse. I think people have enjoyed it so far, and we think that we can extend this and people will continue enjoying this. I mean, as I speak, I've seen a few people actually within the metaverse at the moment in Rick's lab. But our plans are to kind of introduce different projects as a side. And in order to kind of get into those projects, it relies on certain factors that I think we can maybe touch on later in this interview. That's one thing. Another thing is being loyal holders gets you certain rewards with longevity. So the longer you hold, the idea is we're going to introduce certain utilities, such as, maybe I can touch on it, print on demand. We're going to be doing merchandise for Ricks. We're going to introducing that. Another thing we're going to be introducing, which I think Ramo would be better to touch on.
Well, what was the other one? Sorry, mate.
I think you want to be mentioning about the state.
Oh yeah. No, well, yeah, we've got something that's going to happen. Like I can't really say exactly what it is, but I just in the last couple of minutes I received a message from Rick, and he said he's wanted to let you all know something. So if you don't mind, I might just play the message so you can hear it straight from him.
Okay, I knew this was coming, so let's go.
This one's for all you early investors in RCKS meme coin. Yeah, you know who you are. 1% shareholders, our illustrious Citadel of Ricks. Thanks to your savvy investing and possibly your chronic inability to say no to a bad idea, we're not just stopping here. Oh no, we're forming an umbrella company called Interdimensional Investing. Sounds fancy, right? Here's the kicker, though. We've got plans to launch sequels, but don't get your portals in a twist just yet. As our top-tier one-person investors, you get the exclusive chance to buy the floor with us and rake in those maximal rewards. Sounds like a Ponzi scheme? Well, welcome to the multiverse, baby. So let's keep our eyes on the prize, growing RCKS and cooking up future projects that'll make your head spin faster than a trip to Dimension C-137. See you in the multiverse, nerds. Remember, it's not just an investment. It's a cosmic joke we're all in on. All right, listen up. You savvy investors who've managed to snag 1% of RCKS. Thanks.
Just went to replay it.
Okay.
He wanted to say it a second time. I had to cut him off.
Straight from Rick.
Straight from Rick.
So there were a couple of those that kind of I heard too. I didn't hear that one yet. And there's some sort of AI thing that you guys use, right? That like duplicates the voice. That's phenomenal.
Ryan came up with the idea. Yeah.
It's getting kind of scary, isn't it?
It is.
So tell me about it. Tell me about what he just said. Now we just got a little alpha dropped. It looks like.
Yeah, look, we've got something that's going to happen very, very shortly. It's really interesting. Did you want to say something about it, Ali?
Yeah, of course. So, Trev, as I mentioned about the multiverse, what we've found with this system that we're currently using is the idea of portals. And as we know with Rick and Morty, Rick uses a lot of portals with his portal gun. And what we can do is why we're calling this an ecosystem. We felt that we can create kind of these kind of projects in a way that interrelate, because they're around the same thing. Not saying that we're going to maybe kind of stay at Rick and Morty. Maybe we could proceed to other things, but at the root of it is Rick and Morty. So the idea is, I don't know, I don't think we're going to name drop the name that we have, but what it is the early access will be to our 1% holders. So only those will get early access and early information onto when we're going to be releasing this. And knowing that they're the strong holders of that project. And the idea is that there will be a certain buy-in into a certain wallet that cannot be touched. And that would never be, that would not be for sale ever. So it can be like a form of locked liquidity in a way. And then we can kind of continue investing. And of course, as they are the early investors, they get the early insight into the project. Of course, later down the line, then we can introduce it to our small investors, and because they're still a huge part of our project. And this is another incentive to be part of the 1% club. This is just one of the incentives that we have. Another thing that is actually going to be happening right now is custom PFPs/NFTs that we're doing. So we're going to be based around this Rick character, which is this purple Rick that we have. We're actually going to be introducing it first to our 1% holders, where they can tell us what type of character they would like. For example, Ramos, we know is Australian, but they want some Australian flag in the background of Rick, and this would be personalized to him. And it's like a piece of art that he knows it's personalized only to him, and only he will have it. So it's like an NFT in a way. That's one thing. And the other would be, so certain projects that we're going to do in the future. We don't want to kind of delve too deep because, like I said, our main focus is Ricks and growing Ricks. But just to know this is in the future, and why we're saying that this 1% club is just that good to be in. It's
really important. Yeah.
It's really
if you're in the 1%er club, you know things are going to be really good for you.
All right. So here's what I'm hearing, and what I'm not hearing. Rick and Morty are going to be the focus, always the focus, right?
Ricks.
But there are other things that are being built. Maybe other offshoot projects that the 1%ers are going to have the first buy-in opportunity to, but you're not telling me what the project is. Did I have that right so far?
You've pretty much got that right so far.
The reason why we don't want to name drop the project, because we don't want people to feel like we're taking our eye off Ricks. Because Ricks at the moment is at a critical point. We want to make sure that we are maintaining this flow, which we are. We've seen kind of, as I said, just probably saw from your screen share, kind of we maintain that 100K floor back at 116. So we want to make sure that we're not where we want to be at the moment. Of course, we are grateful for where we are and actually happy for kind of maintaining these growing levels. And of course, the investors know that it's going to take time. We are going to get there at some point, but it's just going to take time. And hopefully over that time, the community is going to grow. We get the right people on board, and we understanding more about the needs of the project. And as the project grows, and we take that step by step, rather than introducing everything in one go, and then just losing our foot, and then everything just falls to the ground.
I'm going to tell you a really quick cautionary tale, and I'm gonna kind of break a taboo and actually mention another project, but I have to in order to kind of get the point across. So I was and I still am very involved with another meme coin called Elmo ERC. And Elmo ERC started off like you guys, very, very strong, very good meme, doing very, very well. And then they decided that they wanted to do something else too. Not something else in general, but they wanted to add to. They wanted to create an ecosystem with Elmo at the center, but break off into some really big things that would all build around it. And they created the Meme Alliance, or MMA. And I think Ramo's probably familiar with all this just from being familiar with my stuff, right? Yeah. They created MMA. And it's not really about them. It's about what happened within the community when this happened. Very many people were very, very concerned because they had put a lot of money and a lot of effort, and they really depended on and were really had a lot of hope in Elmo. They felt like the team was moving away. They were going to forget about Elmo. They thought that they're going to create this other thing. It's going to be huge. It's going to be the money maker. It's going to get all the focus. They're going to absolutely forget about Elmo. And the team had a very, very hard time, still to this day, still is a very hard time convincing some people that Elmo is our baby. This is the project we love. We'll always be loyal to it. we're building all these other things and they're all going to work together. And that's a really, really hard sell, right?
It
And
is.
I'm not saying not to do it, because it's absolutely necessary if you want to go back to what I was talking about, longevity. Because a meme coin is a meme coin. And I've said this a million times. As much as I love what you guys are doing and a lot of other meme coin is about hype. It's all about hype and the community. And that hype sometimes only lasts so long. And if you don't have something else for the community to continually be hype about, and if you don't, you guys both know who Madonna is?
Yeah.
The singer Madonna. She reinvented herself throughout her whole career. And the reason she had such a long career and such longevity is because she kept reinventing herself and giving the people something new to enjoy, right? And I see that that's what you're doing. And just like the other one that I just mentioned is doing it, and I think it's absolutely essential. It's just a tough, tough road. There are going to be some people that are going to be very, very upset that you're doing that. But if they can't see the bigger picture, you know what I mean? You've got to do what's best for the project, what's best for your core holders, your 1%ers, your Citadel guys, you know what I mean? And you got to do what you think is necessary to keep going and have a project that we're still talking about 6 months, a year, 3 years, 5 years from now, right? If you want to be that, this is absolutely necessary.
Definitely.
So anybody who just heard what Ali said and is like, oh, what are they doing? You got to open your mind up to it. You have to, right? And it does not mean, I'll tell you, there are people like me who will sit here and make damn well sure you do not forget about Rick and Morty, right? And that you don't leave it in the dust, because I'll let you know if I feel like you're doing that. But anybody who heard that, you should actually be rejoicing that these guys have a plan to push this thing into the future and to add more for you, the investor. I love hearing that personally. I really, really love hearing that. But yeah, I got to tell you, that's going to be a hard one to sell to some people.
Thank you for thank you for kind of pointing that out, Trev. Which is why, again, like I said, we want people to understand this is not like something that's going to happen like today, tomorrow. This is going to start having something down the line. But we want our important investors, of course, they are important investors because they have major stakes in the coin. We want them to understand that, you know what, this is the start of something. We produce something amazing, and we know we can do it. We can replicate this, and it's going to be in your best interest as well. Because at the end of the day, like you said, it's a meme, but then so that the people invest in it with the hope of making profits at the end of the day. But the idea is we're here not to rug anyone. We're here for the longevity of the project. We hope to see the same people years down the line, and hopefully in a better place, make money off the projects, but they make friends from the projects too. And we want people to understand we are like tongue-in-cheek 24/7 in order to make sure we make RIX as successful as possible before introducing any new project. This is RIX. RIX is where we started, and we are going to make sure that we kind of improve on RIX, because this is just the start of something.
That's a great plan. It really is a great plan. I'm glad that you said that. It is now on video and documented.
Yeah, of course.
So we're gonna hold you to it. We're gonna hold you to it. But I'm glad to hear that you got things going on. All right. So a question coming from the chat. I don't know if you guys are watching the chat or if you've read it already. Rob says, tell us about the marketing wallet and how that is being utilized.
Yeah, sure. So with the marketing wallet is being used. Well, it was first funded from the core team, the core dev team. We didn't ask any of the investors, the initial investors, for anything in it. At some points, it might be posted in Telegram, but there's no reluctance for anyone to give anything. It's only if they wanted to add a very small amount in order to fund kind of future things. The first thing that we invested in was Dex ads on the very first day that we hit Radium. We did the same thing from the marketing wallet again when we hosted our first trivia night, which we did on Friday. It was quite a nice experience, quite a funny experience for sure. And we're now also looking into utilizing the marketing wallet. We're kind of debating whether we should look at other forms of advertising in terms of potentially another Dex ads or Solana trending. A lot of people have said other things. People have said mentioned using certain kind of bots. We are reluctant to it because of the kind of the what we've heard, the responses we've had from it, we I mean, it creates volume at the end of the day, but naturally we've actually produced the same volume organically, naturally, without the use of a bot. So we feel like the bot's not going to be best use of the marketing wallet. And like I said, we're transparent. So we want to make sure people understand that we utilize the money not for anything useless and nothing that's going to just go down the drain. We want to be utilizing it as best possible. We've also got one designer that we have to create these custom PFPs, and he's also the designer that's creating our GIFs. So I'm not sure, Trevor, if you might have seen it in our Telegram group, but the Jerry the G with the Rick's character. So he's actually the one that he created that for us. He's actually in the works of creating another GIF for us. It will be posted tonight. It's pretty funny. I do hope everyone enjoys it. And so it's stuff like that that we're going to be utilizing the marketing wallet for. And another thing I would like to say is that we put it towards our chat in our Telegram. I mean, we're on VCR, as I said, 24/7. So we want to be transparent. We do tell people what we're thinking. We get ideas from other people because, like I said, we're new to this too. We want to make sure that maybe there's something that we might not have missed. We do take everything on board, like the volume bots were mentioned. We do try to answer to those people why we think that's not the best option for use of the marketing wallet. But that's at the moment what we're using the marketing wallet for.
Yeah, the GIF files or GIF files, as you call them, that I've seen so far are really good, really good. Somebody else posted a bunch of AI the banners. I don't know who did that, but wow, they were phenomenal.
They were really good, and unfortunately, he remains anonymous.
Yeah. So that was me, right? Ramo asked me earlier, he said, hey, what? And I did see, I didn't ignore you. I mean, I kind of ignored your message, right? But Ramo asked me earlier, he said, hey, what AI program are you using to make those banners and stuff? Listen, you're like asking a magician to tell you how he did the trick, you know? It just ain't going to happen. Anyway, yeah, I have fun doing that. And I will let you know how I did it. So because it's free. I just started doing it a couple weeks ago, and if I can get that good at it in a couple weeks, then anybody can do it, right? So if we can get the whole community popping out these memes, it's really easy to do, right? So I have no problem telling everybody how to do it. And also, in the interest of transparency, and something I probably should have said right up front, this is a sponsored video. Something else that these guys that has come out of the marketing wallet was this interview, right?
Of course, yeah.
So, and here's what I've got to say about that. Few things. And I don't want to take over the whole interview like me talking, but I need people to know this, right? If you don't know me, if you're not familiar with my channel or what I've done, I can tell you that Ramo is. I am not, I don't consider myself an influencer. I'm certainly not a person that you can pay to shill your project and say all kind of good things about it just because you paid me to do it. These guys knew up front that if they paid me to do an interview, I was going to ask the tough questions. If there was something I didn't like, I was going to say it. This is what I do. And because of that, I may not have as huge a following as maybe some other people that I could mention that bought most of them anyway. But when you hear something on my channel and you hear these guys talking and you hear my opinion about something, it's absolutely genuine. The opinion is absolutely genuine. And it says a lot. What I've learned over the last couple of years of doing this is that projects know this about me. They're not going to come to me unless they already know who I am, because I'm not like a huge guy that you say, oh, let's just go to Trev because he's got, 200,000 followers or whatever. If they come to me, it's because they want to prove that they are transparent. They want to prove that they have nothing to hide, because you don't come to me if you do, because I'll call you out on it in a heartbeat. And again, Ramo knows this because he's seen my videos. I've done it. I've been really bullish on things, right, on projects, and really talked really good about it. And then I saw something that they did that was shitty, and I said it immediately. And all of a sudden they went from loving me to hating me. But that's the way it is. And so for a project like this to come to me and pay me to do this, You've got to understand that they have no intention of pulling a rug. They have no intention of hiding anything from you. This is what you can actually take from that. So kudos to you guys. My hat is off to you for showing your face, for coming to somebody like me, and for putting all this information out there for everybody to see. Who wants to demo for me the website and the portal and whatever you got going on right now? The screen is shared, so you can share your screen and walk us through it.
Let me take a look if I can just join the call from my screen, and let's see if we can do it.
While Ali is trying to do that, Remo, let me ask you another question coming out of the chat. Rob
Sure.
says, has there been any discussion of giving utility to the RCKS, to the RIX token, to purchase things like NFTs or other uses? Sorry if that's been discussed. I'm popping in and out at a barbecue. I mean, I think that there was something that was
Yeah, yeah.
mentioned about NFTs.
Yeah, it's definitely been discussed about the personalized PHPs, or PFPs, sorry, for the 1% holders, and so we have got stuff in talks, and we are developing stuff at the moment. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, sorry. What I've actually missed with the custom PFPs to mention Trev. So as I mentioned, that's the reward that we're giving first to the 1% holders for free. And what we're doing is, if any other investor would like one, we're going to be charging very, very small fee depending upon what the cost of it is. And the profit we get from it is going to be put directly back into the marketing wallet and then used for kind of either kind of purchasing ads or kind of any kind of calls or anything that we feel that is going to be useful for the project.
All right. I want to get back to a question. Remind me if I forget. I want to get back to a question about the marketing wallet. But if you're ready, why don't you go ahead and just let's walk through the
Sorry, Trev, it says the host has disabled screen sharing.
Let's see. La 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 la. How about now? Can you do it now? Where the hell's your monitor, on the ceiling? You're like, look.
Sorry.
There we go.
Just let me know once you can see the screen.
Yep, I got it on my end.
Perfect. So, Trev, this is something that all of our holders have access to, or anyone can actually access this site. So this is what we call RIX Lab, RIX Garage. So it's something that we created from the very, very start. Something just to kind of show people what we're doing in the meta space. So we have this is basically RIX Lab, and you can see these characters. These are actually guys that are actually there at the moment.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so we've got characters here. These are kind of people within the metaverse at the moment. So as you can see, you can kind of look around. So what we've actually implemented is certain memes for Ricks on the walls. These are, of course, the popular Rick and Morty characters.
Yep.
So you can just walk around, enjoy. We've got some more memes, and this is something special. So this is actually for the 1% holders, and this is an example of a portal now, Trev. So this will take you into another, let's say, dimension. So I'm not going to go there right now, but this is just to show you what we can do. So you can probably just see from the screen, this is actually what we call Rick's Mansion. So this is only accessible at the moment for Rick's 1% holders, and only will be. And we will kind of be, this is like the start of the project. So we're going to be, of course, kind of upgrading this, adding more things to it, depending on what we can do, and just making it better.
So this is all part of the program that you were telling me about that kind of does this for you.
Exactly. So, like I said, so it gives us a plain canvas. So what we did is we actually created and achieved renders that we found that best suited the environment that we wanted to create. What we wanted to create is actually Rick's Lab. So this is a render. Oops, we've got someone dancing right here. And we also dancing too. But this is a render actually kind of, I guess, like a one-on-one to what you see in Rick and Morty. So his garage. And you kind of got kind of props maybe from the show too. But so you've got renders that we can kind of implement. You've got, of course, the spaceship here. You've got a portal. You've got characters. So it gives us a plain canvas, and we can paint that canvas with whatever we want. And the aim is to kind of improve these worlds, not just to singular rooms, but whole worlds. And of course, it's kind of skeptical. It's being don't want to kind of jump the gun, but of course within our limits and take it step by step, but improving along the way where we can.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'm looking up at looking up at the title bar and looking at all your school stuff.
Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff for med school. Yeah.
It was good that you remembered to shut down all the porn stuff so that didn't show up. Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that walkthrough. All right. So back to the question that I was going to ask you about the I got allergies driving me crazy. About the marketing wallet. What is the plan to keep that thing funded? What different ways are you? I mean, is it just coming out of Rambo's pocket because he operates big, huge machinery and he's loaded? Or have you got
I wouldn't say that.
Oh, yeah, I would say that. I've seen these machines. These machines that he runs they're like the size of I can't even say the size of somebody's house. They're bigger than somebody's house. Yeah. It's phenomenal. I'm on a backhoe or a front end loader or a skid steer or whatever. And, I feel like I'm king shit running down the road in in a front end loader or whatever, because I'm big and huge and I got this big, huge machine. And then he showed me some of the pictures of the things that he operates. And I'm like, oh my God, I would be afraid of even climbing up and getting into this thing. They're so humongous. But anyway, I'm sure you do well for yourself. But everything can't come out of your pocket. So what are you guys doing to make sure that you keep that thing full and, can pay for all these really expensive DJ Trev interviews?
Well, look, the basic simple answer is that, I am putting a good amount of funds into the project at this stage. And I'm happy to do that because, like I said, I believe in it. But eventually we are working towards a stage where we can become self-sufficient, and we're working on mechanisms that we can put in place that will allow us to create those marketing funds without having to, sell off big positions and things like that. So, we haven't got, anything 100% in place yet. We're still discussing ways that we can do it. But yeah, we are definitely looking at putting in extra revenue streams that we can bring in to fund stuff. That is all part of the process that we're looking at.
Yeah, eventually people need to be paid. You can only do this out of the kindness of your heart for so long.
Yeah.
Does the team, the core members that you talked about, have you guys taken anything from this? And there's nothing wrong if you have. Like I said, you got to get paid, but have you done that yet?
At this stage, for me, no. I think I've done a couple of small little cells just for the sake of whatever, but nothing substantial, like $20, $50, whatever. But as far as the bulk of my holdings, I haven't touched. It's been used for marketing or for for helping the project.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't really care what anybody does with their own personal tokens. What I'm saying is that, is there anything in place set up, not a marketing wallet, but some other wallet that you guys are actually drawing on some sort of salary? Are you getting paid at all out of this thing, or to keep going? Or
no, we're looking at, we're just going to do it the way that everybody else does it, Trev, and, as the price organically goes up and increases, we're going to take responsible profits. It's, I mean, it's just as simple as that.
You're bootstrapping it. There's no,
Yep.
there's no weekly pay kind of thing. Or
No.
I mean, it's just a curious
we're trusting
question.
in the project. We're trusting in the project and that it's going to grow. People are going to want to stay with us. We're going to increase our holders, and and if we all do that and we create all those extra little bits and pieces that draws interest to the project, then we can organically grow and we can all make a little bit of money as the project grows.
Yeah, right. That's the way it should be. And even for the community, you should really kind of follow the same pattern, right? Because you've got your bag now, however much it might be, and you're all part of it. So if you want the project to increase, it's the same with every single project. The community, and tell me how you feel about this. How important do you think the community is to the growth of the project? What can they do to help?
They honestly, as far as I'm concerned, I would like the community to take responsible profits as well. I mean, the old adage when you're trading is to as the price goes up is to try and get your initial out. I always I stick to that. I always say to everyone that asks me that as the price goes up, take your initial out responsibly. Get your investment out, and then the rest of it's just, like, you can call it play money or you can just call it whatever you want. But I mean, it's there's no risk. So
Yeah, no, it's house money. Absolutely. It's a very, very smart way to do it. And everybody has their own plan. So, go ahead with your plan. But I guess what I'm asking is, as far as pushing the project forward and the success of the project, moving getting the word out or whatever, how important is the community in that stuff? What would you like them to do to help you help them?
So if I can just touch on, the community have honestly been an integral part of this up until now. And I think the organic growth comes from these meme coins doing these raids. And initially the raids were being smashed. And you see our chats, there's a couple guys there kind of 24/7. And we know that not everyone's available 24/7. But I think what we need from the community, we're actually having it. They understand that the developers behind it, us as devs and kind of the core team, are working behind the scenes like tirelessly in order to make sure that we reach certain goals and make the returns that we see this project able to make. And we understand, and the team understands, and the community understands that this is not an overnight project. This is something that's going to happen with growth. But they know that their money is secure, and they're not gonna lose it by rugging or kind of anything along that line. It's going to be a steady, slow growth, and hopefully at some point it's kind of small, smart bursts. And when we actually reach our all-time high, I actually kind of was also mentioning to the chat to understand that yes, we are diamond holders. The community mentions this term diamond holders for the young youth, but we need to understand that it's about money too. So we want people to kind of trade responsibly, take small profits where available. Of course, you don't want to kind of nuke the chart by taking kind of large chunks out. But of course, trim your position, and of course profit from it. And then if you want, you can always get back at a slightly kind of low market cap, but then you can obviously make money off that too. So we want people to trade responsibly, make profit where they can, and I think the community is an integral part of kind of maintaining what they're doing. We have a few members continuously making memes, like yourself, producing banners for us and memes. So we really do appreciate that. But I think we want people to any opinions that they might have, anything that they feel that that we could use for our project, anything, just feel where the VC is open, the Telegram's more than open, our DMs are open. Feel free to DM us, give us your suggestions, and we're definitely happy to take them on board. And then we're now with our admin meetings, we're happy to have them. And what we're seeing now, actually, Trev, I have a few people from early on from Pump Fund days actually DMing me saying that I would love to be an admin in the group. So they really see themselves as kind of growing as a community and want kind of more roles in the community. So, like as you said, it's showing. So as the community grows, definitely the roles in the community will grow too.
I've seen what this community can do when they get together on these raids. And I'll tell you, I haven't always been a huge fan of raids. I think that sometimes you can be a little obnoxious about it. And like when, if I post something and then all of a sudden I've got a shitload of people blowing up my post about something totally else, it kind of irritates me, I'll be honest with you, right? But if you do it right, it can be very, very effective. And I watched the chart as the TG, just the guys in the TG, and the TG's not huge, right? But just the guys and girls in the TG who were jumping in on these raids, I saw it move the chart. Without a doubt, that's where it came from. So it is absolutely essential to have a very, very strong, committed community who is not lazy, who understands that if you just put in 5, 10, 15 minutes posting or liking posts or retweeting or whatever, right? You can really, really help your own bag. You're doing the work for yourself, right? And so far, that's the community that I see you guys have. And that puts you so many steps ahead, you have no idea. So that's a really, really good thing. That's really strong. And I love that. It's just another
We're
reason
very
why.
fortunate.
Yeah,
very, very
really
fortunate.
are. Because there are some other projects out there that I could name that have been doing it for a long time, and the team is busting their ass to really put out a good project. And they are putting out a good product, but the community just is not there to support them. And it's like banging your head against the wall. It's like we're giving you everything that you need. Just do it a little bit. You don't have that problem with this community, and that's really, really bullish. It really is.
Yeah.
You mentioned
it is. It's a cliche. It's a cliche, Trev. But you know, a token or a coin is really built on its community. It is cliche, but it's 100% true.
Yeah, it really is. It absolutely is. So thank you, community. Right, everything that you guys have done so far.
100%.
Keep it up. Keep it up. Bring in new people and let them know that they got to do the same thing. It's just the way it is, right? It's a community project, and if we're all going to get nice, if we're all going to get right, we all got to put in the work, right? You guys did mention the banner a little while ago, and there was a contest. Are you ready to announce the winner of the contest, or is that something you're going to do at another point?
I'm more than happy to. I know we're going to create a Twitter post announcing the winner. But
I can't wait. I can't wait to hear. Good.
Oh, you want me to say it?
Yeah, go on, Robert.
It's a fella that's got a fairly shiny head.
Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah.
What else can you tell us? Is he really, really handsome?
He's extremely handsome.
Go ahead, just say the name.
Okay, it's you, Trev.
No, you're kidding. Yeah, these guys told me yesterday. I really, really appreciate it. That's wonderful. And I found a program, and again, I'm going to share it with everybody. A program that makes, and it's not like everybody doesn't know about this, right? And I'll tell you right now, I do most of these AI things on Bing. Everybody knows what Bing is, right? But if you go to the Copilot and you're very specific about what listen, 90% of the time it gets it wrong. It doesn't do, so you've really got to put in a little effort and time trying to get it to make the image that you want it to make, right? Or you'll get it like, I'll say, create this, and I want it to have yellow hair and in a gray suit, and it'll do that. And then I'll say, okay, I want it standing in front of a blah, blah, blah building. And then it'll put it standing in front of the building, but now it doesn't have blonde hair, So it takes a little work to actually finagle it. There are better ones out there, but this one's free. And when it gets it right, I think you've seen the quality. When it gets it right, it's really good quality. I then take that, and on my iPhone, I don't know if anybody who has an iPhone knows it, but you can go to, like, let's say I had this picture of me. If I went and just held down on myself, it will do an outline of me and cut me out of the picture. So now I can take that and I can drop it on another picture. So I can put myself anywhere, right? And there's another program that I use to do that, and I will just tell you what that is so you can download it and you can use it yourself. It is called Union. UNIZON. I got it on the Apple Store. I don't know if it's available for anything else, but with that program, I can take, like I've taken, I don't know if you probably can't see it because no, you can't see it. Anyway, with that program, I can take that picture that I took out of myself. This is how I make my thumbnails. take that picture of myself and drop it on another picture, and I can just add layers, you know? So it takes a little bit of work. There are a few different places I go to actually make it happen. And then I had posted some GIFs or GIFs or whatever, where I took those and I had the sky going and I had wind and I had all kind of things. That's a whole nother program. It takes time and effort to do that. And that's what I use to make a few different banners that I submitted to these guys. And they were good. They were really good, I gotta say.
They
But
were
it
really
ain't like
good.
it's not like I'm sitting here drawing this shit. I mean, you just have to put in the right inputs, you know. What I would like to tell you right now, because the reward for winning this contest was, I believe, 500,000 Rick. Did I have that correctly? I would like you guys to take that, and I would like you to divide it up however you want to divide it up and do some contests and give that whole thing to the community, the guys in the TG or whoever wants to be in there. If you want to give 5 people 100,000, or if you want to give 10 people, however you want to do it, I want you to take that and I want you to give it back to the project. And I appreciate
Extremely generous of you.
giving me the
Thank
winner.
you.
Well, you know, that might be generous of me, but again, in the interest of full disclosure, you guys have been, aside from the, you know, what we're doing here, you guys have been extremely generous to me. You know, and I appreciate that. So yeah, I want to give back. I want to be a part of this thing. You know what I mean? I really do.
We want you to be a part of it, mate.
So,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, so take that and give it to the people, man. Just, you know, divide that up and make it something fun. All right. All right. Rob says, I've seen good meme coin projects in 7 figures easily. This community knows this, and the price support levels demonstrate that. This is definitely a project that can do really, really well. But right now it is a meme coin. It's going to rely on a lot of hype. It's going to rely on a lot of community input. But it is a very low market cap right now. Only 1 billion supply. It really isn't that bad at all. At some point could be deflationary. These guys have plans for the future. They have plans to stick around and be here. They're, you know, they're doing all kind of things even right now to show that they're committed to this project and to the people that are invested. I want to ask you, because this isn't necessarily something that a lot of developers think about. But I want to ask you too, as you're developing this project and you're all happy with yourselves because it's doing all well and you're making portals and you're making all these graphics and blah, 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 blah. I want to ask you to remember that the people that are invested are investors. They are traders. They are here first and foremost to make money, right?
100%.
So if you're not doing things, if you're all high and mighty and up on yourself about how your ingenuity and how cool you can make it, but you're not actually keeping in your head, what can I do to make these guys that are supporting us some money that they can actually take these profits? You're doing it wrong. Okay. So I want to ask you to please keep that in mind moving forward. And it's something that I will continue to remind you about, because first and foremost, that's what I'm here for in every project that I'm in. It's to make money. All right. Did I have any other questions? I actually wrote some things down. I don't usually do that, but I did for you guys. We already showed the website. All right. Tell people how to buy Rick and Morty. How do you buy it?
First and foremost, you can so we have our Twitter page. I'm sure Trev's going to link it in their bio. We have access to our website. From the website, you also have on the Twitter a direct link to Dex Screener. On Dex Screener, you can either use trade with Radium. Wherever you use, the contract address is on there. The contract address is also on our Twitter page, whether you use Photon, Jupiter, whatever system you might use, but you just probably make sure it is the correct contract address. Make sure it's not a spam Twitter page. We have had some problems with the Twitter page, but it's being resolved. So just make sure you're using the correct contract address. Feel free to also join us with a Telegram. You're able to kind of talk to people, make sure you're buying from the right source. But the first and foremost, you can definitely publish from Dex Screener and then use Radium. Right. Yeah, I want to reiterate that. Make sure you are using the official contract address. There are other Rick and Morty projects out there. I'm sure you're aware, right?
Yeah.
This isn't the only one. And if you put it into a search, you might come up with 3 or 4 different ones. And if you're clicking on the wrong one, you could lose quite a bit.
Yep.
So go make sure you get it from the official spot. Go to the TG, go to the Twitter page. Listen, if you go to the Twitter page, there might even be other Rick and Morty Twitter pages. If you go to the Twitter page and you see that I'm following and they're following me, you're on the right one, because I don't follow any of that other bullshit, right? So make sure you're on the Twitter page, the TG, the official website.
Yep.
That's where to copy and paste the contract address from. All right. If you have any questions at all, hit me up in DMs on Twitter, tag me, tag these guys. Whatever you want to do, make sure you're doing the right thing. I don't want anybody to lose any money. The last question that I want to ask you actually is about that. There are other Rick and Morty projects out there. There have been other Rick and Morty projects out there. I've got someone very close to me that I've been involved in a few projects with that I really kind of like a lot, have a good friendship with, who told me, listen, I got involved with this Rick and Morty thing. I think it was on Ethereum last year, and it was a shit show, right? That wasn't you, right?
No.
No.
I had somebody else in comment on one of my posts and say, I've been involved in 3 different Rick and Mortys, and they all pulled the rug on me, right? So I forget exactly what I told them, but I told them something to the effect of, these guys are putting a lot of money and effort and time into this, and why would you do that if you were going to pull a rug? But it is a concern of people's that there are other Rick and Mortys out there, and I don't think any of them so far have really done well by their investors, right? A lot of them have rug pulled. So thank you for coming on. Thank you for showing your face. Thank you for giving the information. And thank you for continuing to just be transparent. I'm going to assume going forward, and sticking up or making up for where all these other projects have failed, and coming with something genuine for everybody. So thank you very much for doing that. And if at any point I see that you're not doing that, I will fucking nail you.
Yeah.
We wouldn't expect anything less.
Yep. All right, guys. Any closing words, Ramo?
Honestly, I just, we've said it before, it was, I came into crypto, it was about the money. This project has become about the project and the community. So for me, it's my happy place at the moment,
Beautiful. Thank you for being here. Ali?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, thank you for having us, Trev. But like I said to anyone watching right now, we want you to understand that this is a long-term project. You don't have to invest straight away. Feel free. The Telegram, like I said, is open. Feel free to join us in the VC. DM us. Our admins are more than happy to answer any questions you have, any concerns you might have, any suggestions you have. We're more than open, and we're more than transparent. We will stay transparent. That's our word, and I'm sure we'll stick by that word. And we want to make sure that everyone makes money together. We stay as a community together, and we grow together.
All right. Thank you very much for your words. All right, y'all. Fist bump, live fist bump. All right, guys. Have a good one. I'll see you.
Thanks,
in the TG.
Trev.
Thank you, Trev.
Cheers.
Cheers.